G'day, it's Simon and James at a perfect morning here at South OC Cars and Coffee. The weather is nice, it's not too hot, not too cold, a little bit overcast, but the cars have come out and we've got some pretty cool stuff. What are you seeing, James?
We have some very cool stuff today. So we have a massive Porsche club that came through this morning. We have just about one of every kind of Porsche that you could possibly want to see. We have another ton of stuff in the exotics. We have some luxury, like really high-end SUVs. We have a DBX, Aston Martin SUV that's a crazy spec come in. We got a couple of Uruses. It's just a good show all around today.
Yeah, I've seen a beautiful Dino that pulled in this sort of mustard colour 72 Dino. Wow, those cars are just, you know what, the older they get, the more beautiful those things look. And, you know, they couldn't give them away a few years ago now. Man, I wish I had a few of them in a garage somewhere. And also some classic RollsRoyces that we brought in a little earlier when we saw them pull in. I think it's a 26 and about a 32, a Roadster in this limousine. Great stories behind them. We made them Car of the Week, so make sure to check that out. Hey, don't forget, if you're coming to South OC Cars and Coffee, please remember to respect our rules. No speeding, no revving, no burnouts. That includes coming to and from the show and getting on and off those freeways. All right, James, tons to do. Let's go for a walk and check it out.
Let's do it. Starting off this exotic road with a couple of very special Lambos. First of all is the Lamborghini Huracan with a Super Trofeo body kit on it. This belongs to Tony from Straight Up Driven. Has a full twin turbo kit on it. Absolutely insane. You can see just how much wider this car is than the factory. Has the Trofeo style wing, that functional air scoop, and a crazy set of Rohana wheels. Just a beautiful car. And then next to it, of course, the Murcielago Roadster, one of my all-time favorite V12s. This one looks like it's a beautiful metallic orange. Really cool set of custom wheels on there. Very period correct for it, almost like a dub style wheel. Very, very beautiful and very clean as well. It's one of the more clean examples we've had here at the show. Here we have another Murcielago in the front, a very, very clean example as well. You can see this one being gloss black with the red seat inserts. Another one that's the E-Gear V12, just a very, very pretty example. I think arguably the coolest part about this car is the plate. What do you think is worth more, the plate or the car itself? Let us know in the comments below. Here we have a very cool lineup of super SUVs. So between the Aston Martin DBX or the Lamborghini Urus, this one's a graphite capsule. I believe you can see it has the full slate paint with these little green accents. Very, very cool. Between these two, which would you take? I know they're very different. This one having I believe it's a V12, then this one has, of course, that 4-liter twin turbo V8. Both very, very cool cars. I think personally I'm gonna have to go with the Urus, but I do love the spec on this car. Here we have, coincidentally, a lineup of new McLarens. This is not being sponsored by McLaren Newport, but may as well be because we have so many of their cars here. Two 750Ss and the Artura. This one is a very, very cool 750S Spider. You can see it has the exposed carbon package on it. Really nice black seats. Just a full motored out car. Next to it, the 750S Coupe. Very, very cool. You can see a couple differences. This one has the carbon package with the carbon hood. This one doesn't have louvered fenders though. This one is full wide up, but it does have those louvered fenders like they have on the 765. Around the back of these you can see. Super, super aggressive. Very cool. This one has a paint matched wing. This one has the 765 style wing as well, but in exposed carbon. So it's kind of like a yin and yang combo. Next to it, the Artura. Very, very cool. I think this is a car that deserves a little bit more recognition, kind of the replacement for the 570. But I've heard that there were a couple issues with these. It seems like they've got them sorted because I'm seeing more of them out in the wild, but I do love this blue color. Very cool. Louvered fenders, massive CCBs. This one, of course, being the twin turbo 6-cylinder hybrid. Out of all three of these, which one would you guys take? Here we have twin 991.2 GT3s, both in very different color schemes. This one belonging to Pete, who's a longtime friend of the show. He just picked this up, absolutely love it. Has a metallic black paint. Comfort seats, the PDK. This one is in God's red with the same kind of interior. Has the comfort seats and the PDK. Very, very cool cars. Which one would you guys take? I think I'd have to go with the black one. You guys can see we have a massive showcase from Porsche Club North America, starting off with a very cool 997. So you can see that has the kind of cup flares on it. Just looks like a standard 997 until we get to the back, when you'll notice it's LS swapped. Very, very cool. I know some of the purists are going to be upset, but it sounded great coming in, and I bet this thing is a blast to drive.
We got this far, don't
This is what I like to call the Lamborghini Aventador SV Almost J. So it's, well, more of an S, almost SVJ, but it's a Lamborghini Aventador S with an SVJ front bumper, so it's kind of an interesting retrofit, but I think it looks pretty good. He's done a really good job molding this into the factory car. You can see when we come around the back, it still has the Aventador S rear bumper with that exhaust, but I think it's a really cool little aggressive upgrade to the car. The guy seems to love it as well, which is what matters. Here we have twin 992 3RSs, both very cool colors. This one being the Arctic Gray, kind of the more launch spec edition. You can see both of them have the Y-Sack package, so they have the carbon roof, and or actually no, this one has matte carbon, which is very interesting. I don't think I've seen this before. I'm sure it's kind of a PPF on it, but it does look very, very good. It blends in with the car. It's kind of similar to my R8. Very, very nice. This one, of course, having the glossy carbon. I think I like the black a little bit more. The satin carbon just works so well with it. Has the blacked out wheels going for that kind of like Bruce Wayne look. He's done a very, very good job with this car. Here we have an extremely clean 992. I don't normally look too closely at the non-GT3s or the non-Turbo S's, but this one's a standard 911 Carrera S. And they've done a very good job spec here. Just the clean black exterior with this kind of like burgundy interior. It's lowered, you can see it has the factory wheels, but it looks like they might have put spaces on it. But it is very, very clean. Here we have a very pretty 991.1 GT3. Love the blue color on this. I think it has a carbon hood on it. I'm not sure if it's real carbon or if it's kind of a PPF that they've put on it, like the carbon PPF, but it does look very good nonetheless. I think the color scheme works really well on it. I do like the orange accents on the brakes, matches that little steering wheel 12 o'clock mark. They've just done a really good job with this car. Very nice.
Isn't this pretty? This is a 1972 Dino. Everything about this car is perfect. The color looks so good on it. You know, it was so funny. A few years ago, you couldn't give these away. In fact, I was talking to a gentleman before who was saying in 1974, he bought a 1972 Dino like this. He paid 11 for it, and he sold it a few years later for 14 and thought he did really well. Now they're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I mean, look at the lines. Look at the way they reverse curved the glass through here, the vents through there. Obviously, it was really a Fiat. That's, you know, it's a V6 motor, and I guess originally it probably didn't even have a Ferrari badge on it. That would have been added, I'm sure. But the lines on this car are just absolutely wonderful. Of course, Enzo Ferrari named the Dino. That was the name of his son, who obviously died at a young age. And there's something historic about the fact that that's why this car came into existence. But in terms of sheer prettiness, it's one of those cars of this era. Same for me as the Lamborghini Miura. It's beautiful, and the older it gets, the more beautiful the lines seem to get as well. So wonderful to see this car here. Just so many things about it. Look at that gated shifter down in there, the way a Ferrari should be. And I was just saying to somebody, the new 296, of course, which is the hybrid V6 turbo, I think they should have actually called that a Dino, because it's also obviously a V6. I mean, it would have been easy for them to integrate some of the lines and some of the design features of it and called it a Dino. But hey, great car. Pininfarina, of course, did the design on it. Last week we had those 4 Pininfarina supercars here, their new electric supercars. But a beautiful car, beautiful lines. Look at these two RollsRoyce. I saw these pull into the parking lot the other side, and literally went and flagged them down and brought them in, because I knew they were going to be really long, and I wanted to make sure we got them in a good park, but I also wanted to make sure we put them somewhere where people could actually see them, appreciate them. These cars are car of the week, so I don't want to talk about them too much. Roadster, obviously the limousine over there with the separate driver compartment you're going to see in the car of the week video. Great stories behind both of them. This particular car, the owner has taken it on rallies over 2,000 miles, bought it to be able to put his newborn baby in the back and drive around and do these big tours, which actually works out well, because you notice, like a proper limousine at the time, the driver's actually separate from the passenger compartment, so he and his wife can sit in the front having a conversation. The baby's back in the quiet area at the back. And unusual too, this is one of the first eras where the driver's actually in an enclosed cockpit, not sort of out in the open. But beautiful cars. Roadster, obviously this limousine, RollsRoyce, both built in the US, bodied in the US, but obviously under license with RollsRoyce, because that's the way RollsRoyce rolls. Amazing, amazing cars. So we just spoke about these two amazing RollsRoyces, which I made car of the week. Make sure to check that out. This gentleman here rolled in a little after the two Rolls-Royce, Steve. Steve, you brought in the most beautiful Packard and wonderful colours. Tell us the story about this car. How long have you owned the car?
This car, my family bought this car in 1967.
Ah, sweet.
So been with us for a long time. We restored it in time for Pebble in '93, and we just had it in Pebble a couple weeks ago.
Has it won any awards at Pebble Beach?
No, we got a ramp trip, but
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was fun. Made by the body was coach work by Letourneau at Marchand, which is a French coach builder.
Is that what I was seeing down here?
That's the chassis.
Okay.
The coach builder plate.
And is it running that big inline
straight 8, 384 cubic inch, makes good power, you can drive it quickly.
Huge torque out of those motors,
It
like
almost doesn't need a transmission.
No, it just sort of putts along at low revs, but but interesting design and not the sort of motor that if you're working on it yourself, you can lift the head off it by yourself.
Yeah.
Interesting. It looked like a big lump of metal.
It is a big lump of metal, but I've done a lot of work on this car myself. We've done engine work and.
It's so elegant, the coach work.
Yeah.
Love the bright work through here and through
Art Deco.
Yeah,
and they really did a wonderful job. And this is the only car of this body style that survives from Letourneau Marchand.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's.
Yeah, I've looked everywhere. I mean, there's a book and there's internet pictures and. This is the only one that's left.
It is just absolutely beautiful. Can we have a look under the hood? Is that possible?
Sure. For a quick second.
So we got lift the hooks, and then you got the vents on the side, which are great. There's that beautiful
big
straight eight. Yeah, I suppose the head's probably not too bad.
I mean, it's doable.
Distributor on the top, so that's driving on the camshaft.
There's a shaft that goes all the way down to the cam.
To the camshaft, yeah. Interesting. And like the Rolls-Royces we talked about, the Packard looks like they built their own carburetor. They didn't use.
No, actually, that's a Detroit lubricator.
Yeah. Is it really?
That's a 2-year only carburetor, and there's a big saga of the carburetor, but I won't bore you. So.
And period correct K&N filter there. I noticed.
You know what? You have to roll with the times.
You do, and the reality is this probably had a wet filled, the oil filled carburetor, oil filter.
No air filter.
Didn't it really?
They did not think it necessary.
Yeah, well,
I think it necessary.
I think it necessary. Well, mate, Steve, what a beautiful car.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it bringing it out, and how good with these hoods across here like this.
It's a great lineup.
It
I'm
is.
happy to see these guys out, and it's a fun day coming out here. You guys do a great show. Love it.
I appreciate that, mate. Thank you so much.
Yep.
The new Hummer, GMC branded these days, as you can tell about down there. EV, it's a massive thing. I guess it's competing against the Tesla Cybertruck we've got up there. I think this looks a lot better, but really interesting, contemporary looking interior. Love the roof on it, twin Targa roof on it. I think they look great. I think they've done a really good job at making them look sympathetic to the original designs of the Hummer, and apparently they're a decent vehicle to drive, good range, all that sort of stuff. Busy morning again this morning, overflow lots full. Nice looking Corvette just leaving us here, very pretty. Over here, love this. This is my favourite era of Impala. This is a 1966. And I didn't even see the license plate before I knew that. And the reason I know it's a 66, love the white interior. If you come around to the back, 66 had what I think was the best looking back end on Impalas. They had these long rectangular tail lights. Now, Impalas previously had the 3 tail lights across the back, and this was the first year and the only year of this generation that Chevy went to these elongated tail lights. Now they got pushed back from the market. So if you look at a 65 goes back to the lights above the top. I like the 66 because I think they look really great the way they're integrated. 67, they come down into the bumper. They've got the 3 lights again. But the thing I like about this is it stepped away from those traditional design cues of the 3 lights. And also, to me, makes it a little bit more collectible because it's the only year that they did that. It always amazes me when we get these vehicles just show up and park down the back, this being one of them. This is obviously a Diablo Roadster. A great looking car. We had one in last weekend, the weekend before, the red one. This is a really, really beautiful car. This is, the one we had the other week was actually a Euro spec one. You could tell by the little side markers. This is actually a US spec, but hey, I mean, these cars are amazing. Can you imagine the presence of this when this thing came out? And obviously still in the days when Lamborghini was still owned by Lamborghini, not Audi, but gated shifter in there. What a great car, huh? We have a ton of motorcycles at the moment. Look at this little guy down here. Been a while since I've done a walkthrough. Let's do that.
I trust my best, confess. You hate me wearing the pants. If you weren't so damn obsessed with making me your perfect lie. Makeup is out, naturals in, letting my skin glow out. Yeah, taking shit if you don't like this. You still live in your man's world. I'm not gonna spend the night. I'm talking.
Have a look at this little beauty. This is obviously a vehicle from a hotel, Moana Hotel in Waikiki, actually for sale. So if you want to drive around in something pretty cool, don't try and get in from this side because you got to climb over the spare wheel, Dukes of Hazzard style. Not sure there's still a roof underneath that roof, and it's great. Jim's Beach Cruisers, and it's good. Look at this, and it's for sale. Hawaiian sampan. I think it's good. It's really, really good. Look at the speaker sound underneath. What a ripper. So if you want something fun to come to South OC Cars and Coffee, you can do a lot worse than grabbing this. Getting tons of attention. Very, very cool. There's the QR code if you want to scan and find out more. Saw this Studebaker at Daytona pull in. I honestly don't remember that I've ever seen one before. It's really cool, isn't it? 283, I guess that means it's a V8, just a small capacity V8. Column auto, which is kind of cool. Buckets in the front with a console, but isn't that great? Great looking original mat and spare tyre on this thing, and most importantly, look at that, a South OC Cars and Coffee sticker. But I love seeing cars like this that you don't see every day. It makes what we do interesting, and I have a total respect for people that look after cars like this. Remember, we don't own them. We are simply caretakers until they pass on to the next person. Super clean 1956 F100 sitting here on well wheels. We'll look at the back rubber in a minute. Running a big block of all things, super clean again, real old school, lots of chrome and polished stuff and everything. Notice no door handles as well. They've got rid of those, and it's got that, cool trim of the era, sort of flames, and then the recessed door handles, and then kind of period correct gauges, but in terms of the instrumentation, but getting rid of the big instrument cluster, odometer, massive tack up there with the shift light and their B&M shifter, very clean bed, looks tubbed in there, and I'm not surprised because when we come back and look at this back rubber, it's absolutely huge. So this is for sale as well. If you want a tough cruiser, this could be it. ...1979 Pontiac Trans Am. I prefer the earlier 77 where they actually had a grille through here, but of course made famous by the Smokey and the Bandit franchises with Burt Reynolds and Sally Fields. 6.6 litre, so 400 cubic inch motor, and it was interesting, the California version, they were 400 and 403, I think, from memory, which was, I think, an Oldsmobile motor. But the interesting thing about these particular cars was, because they were so choked up with emissions at the time, the recorded horsepower on one of these cars was around about 220 horsepower. Think about that by today's standard. You can easily get 220 horsepower out of a four-cylinder. The NHRA tested them at the time and said they were probably closer to 260, 280 horsepower, so they actually produced more. But the emissions at the era just choked these cars down so much. Great looking car. I love this era of Pontiacs, and like most kids of this era, after Smoking the Bandit came out, I reckon I had a poster of one of these on my bedroom wall. But this colour scheme as well, you got to have the Screaming Chicken in gold on the top of the black car, and then of course this interior as well, and the T-top. Just absolutely classic car, always great to see. We got a bunch of classic Chevys through here, absolutely love them. Great colour on this, sitting low as low can be next to it, the same thing. Look at the details, look at the paintwork, all the details, the pinstriping through here, tons of chrome, obviously on air. Just a wonderful, wonderful car. All these little details that are sort of unique to this style of building. Next to it, another one that's been a previous car of the week winner, this delivery van. I'm guessing it's about a 90, could be 1948 to sort of 52. But look at the interior in this thing. Just absolutely, absolutely wonderful. Every angle, so many cool things on this. We come around the other side. He used to have, no, he's taken off. He used to be like one of the air conditioning modules, like a fan module on the side. Very cool. Next to another one, beautiful Chevy truck. Same sort of era, as you can tell by the grille. Could be 48-ish sort of era. And then across the other side, I want to jump across here as well. We've got a couple of really nice looking Impalas over here as well. The white one, which is a drop top, and then the red one that's over there as well. Just love these cars. These classic Chevys are so, so cool. Walking past this Land Cruiser, you could make the mistake of thinking it's all original. In fact, it's a resto mod. It's got the great looking original wheels on it. It's got manual locking hubs on the front. But there's some really cool stuff about it, including underneath here. This is not the old original inline 6 that this thing came with. Obviously, this is a newer motor. I'm guessing this is out of something like one of the newer FJ Cruisers, but the interior and everything on this car has been kept original, which I love. The back, everything about it looks like it just rolled off the production line. Still running leaf springs, still, looks like it's got nicer shocks on it. So it's kind of a resto mod. Suspension not so much, but under there, this is going to make this thing not only more reliable and more horsepower, but obviously a lot easier to drive as well. It's a really, really great job. It looks like it could have rolled out of the factory with that. I feel like there's a story behind this Fairlane. It is not your average Fairlane. Look at it under there. That's a 427 sitting underneath that, which obviously was the hypo motor from this particular. Is this yours?
Yes, sir.
It is really good. What is your name?
Darren.
Darren, this car feels like it wants to tell me a story. 427, steel wheels. What's this? This is
all original.
Wow, looks great.
9,000 miles.
Wow.
The history of the car is, in 1963, Ford wanted to enter NASCAR.
Right.
The rules for NASCAR at the time were, in order to enter it, you had to produce with the same specs as the car that's going to be racing to make the offer to the general public with the same specs.
Right.
This is one of them.
This is one of those cars.
And they did win in 63, first and second place.
That is so cool. Is it a top loader gearbox in it?
No, this one does not have top load.
Okay. 9-inch rear end in it in these eras? Yeah. This is really cool. And then did it come from the factory with the twin carbs like that?
Twin 4s, 427.
And they look like Hollies.
They are.
They are 650s, yeah. Vacuum secondaries, not double pumpers by the look. But still, man, to think that a car left the factory back in those days with those sort of go fast bits on it, it's pretty cool.
From my understanding, they only made 3,600 of these.
Wow. And so, do you know what the published horsepower was, but what it actually was?
Published was 425. I have no idea.
Yeah, like most of the cars of this era, it didn't matter if it was whoever. They always underestimated the power. I remember reading once that they claimed that the L88 motor used, the 427 used in the Camaros and the Corvettes, they claimed they were like 450 when they dynoed them like 680 or something.
Yeah,
which was,
I have no idea.
Hey, this is really, really cool. Love seeing this. Interior, everything's beautiful.
All original paint,
really good.
Original everything.
So cool. Hey, thank you. I saw you roll in and thought, that car wants to tell me a story, and it's got one. Good job. Thanks for bringing it out.
No worries.
That is it for a very good South OC Cars and Coffee here today. Hey, thank you guys so much for coming out. Remember, if you're coming to the show, respect the rules, no revving, no speeding, no burnouts. That includes on the property, going through the streets of San Clemente and then getting on and off those freeways as well. I want to say a massive thank you to all the sponsors. We have the brackets here, Way Marketing, Mazda, McGuire's, iAccident Attorneys, Next Level Auto Protection, Syria, Ineos, Grenadier, and Carbontastic, and of course Happy Jewelers as well. And then I want to say a massive thank you to all the volunteers that come out each and every week to help us put on this event. We could not do the show without them. If you want to become a volunteer, hit us up on Instagram at South OC Cars and Coffee Merch. So we handle all the volunteer rostering, and then while you're over there, check out some of our new t-shirt designs, new hats, hoodies, stickers, everything that you guys could possibly want branded from South OC Cars and Coffee. If you are volunteering, you get to bring your car in before 8:30, and then Ruby's Diner provides a free coffee and donut for everyone helping out.
Yeah, a big thank you to Ruby's for doing that and also feeding the masses, and a big thank you to the outlets of San Clemente for allowing us to be here. Remember, if you need to do shopping, go to the movies, grab a coffee, go to a restaurant, come to the outlets, tell them South OC's Cars and Coffee sent you. Well, that is it. Great turnout, great show. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. We're going to see you back here next week for another South OC Cars and Coffee.
Thank you guys.